Hello there, Imef here, and I'm back with some more computer craft, and today I am here to continue my Algorythmics tutorial. This is part 2, and today I'm going to present you guys to functions. So what is a function? This is a function, and what is the definition of a function? I don't really have a precise one. I guess it would my definition would probably be it's a piece of code you can execute as many times as you want, and it's basically like a shortcut. You don't have to actually write or copy paste some code all the time. You just need to call the name of the function and it will automatically do the code which is inside it. So what I have here is a function I called add, and it adds basically two arguments, a and b, and it returns the value, and you can call it like that, add 2 plus 2, well, it does 2 plus 2 basically, and for all I know the result is 4, and print is just to display a message because all the function does is just the addition and it returns a value. So if you just call add 2 plus 2, it will, if you just do add 2 and 2, it will just do the addition and will not display anything. So let's actually give this a try, and there you'll see 4. So the assumption was right, 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. So let's go back to editing test, and let's see more into detail how the function actually works. So first of all, you actually have to declare that it is a function. So you have function here. After, you need to add, put the name of the function, so in this case it would be add. In the parentheses you can put some arguments. Some functions do not take out any arguments. This one does. It takes a and b, and then inside there's all the code. And of course don't forget to put end at the end of the function, because otherwise it won't work correctly and the program won't work basically. So what the program does, it declares a variable called c, and c will take the value of a plus b, and then it will return value c. And the function can actually be simplified in a way, but this doesn't apply to all languages. Some languages, what I'm going to do here doesn't always work, so it's returned directly a value like that, a plus b. Like I said, in some languages this doesn't work. So this is a simplified version of the add function, and it works just as well. Let's try this again, and we get 4. So we still have a confirmation that 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. So let's do rm test just to remove the test file and edit test. There we go. And let's go into, let's actually make a function which is probably a bit more advanced. So this is actually not going to be a function, it's going to be a procedure. So let me explain the difference between a function and a procedure. It's very basic. A function returns a value whereas a procedure doesn't. So, but it's declared exactly the same way. You type function, the name of the function, so or procedure. So this is going to be draw rect. So it's going to draw a rectangle, and as arguments it takes the width and the height of the rectangle you want to draw. Inside, I'm going to draw the code, write the code, and then I'm going to try and explain how it all works. So let's get started. For j 1 to h. So what I did here is I declared a first loop, and there will be something in this loop. I'm going to actually write that later on. So yes, this first loop is basically to represent every line, and inside this loop I'm going to write another loop for I going from 1 to the width, and this represents the columns. So right, how about a star as a symbol we write? There we go. So this should work normally. And so let's go through the whole thing. Basically it will go through, if you do, for example, width 2 and height 2, it will go through the loop the first time, hit this loop the first time, then it will go through this one. It will display 2 times the little star symbol, so it will draw the first line. Then it will go to the next line using print with nothing inside. Then it will increment j, so that will be the second line, and so that will be the last line too. It will go through this loop once again, draw 2 symbols, go to the next line, and this is the end of the code. So let's actually try an example like draw rect of, how about 8, 5. There we go. Save, exit, and hopefully this will work. Yes, you get a lovely little rectangle. It's almost like a square, but not quite. But yeah, this is a rectangle, and yeah, let's go on. So let's go do our test. And what I'm going to show you now is actually kinda an advanced concept in programming. It's not really advanced, but it is still well. It will kind of change your way you see functions too. So let's edit test once more. And what I'm going to talk of is recursivity. So let me write the word recursivity, like that. So a recursive function is basically a function which calls itself, so it does a recursion. This is the vocabulary, by the way. So there are a few famous recursive functions, like the factorial, quicksort, and lots of AI programming actually uses lots of recursivity, for all I know. So I'm not going to show you any AI because I'm not very good in that yet. But hopefully by the end of well, right this year I'm actually having a course in Algorythmics. I had one last year too, and that's where I actually got most of my knowledge in Algorythmics. But this year I'm studying quite a lot of recursivity and some slightly more advanced stuff, with what I am actually going to teach you guys, and some of it actually cannot apply to Lua. So yeah, let's declare a function which will be fact, and this is for factorial. So I'm actually going to start by writing the function in such a way that it will work. Well, I'll actually write the function so that it uses a loop, and then I will actually write another function for factorial which uses a recursion. So let's how about local r, which will be equal to 1 when it starts, and there we'll use a for loop for r equal actually 2. Going to have what is it to n, do end and r will be equal to r times I. So this is basic code, and of course I will have to return r in the end. And let's try and call the function a few times, like fact 3, so that should be 6 the result, and let's print fact of 4, which should be, if I recall correctly, 24. So hopefully I programmed this correctly. So only one way to know anyway. Let's call test, and 6 and 24, just like I predicted, the function does work. However, this function isn't very well optimized because I didn't take care of errors. So that would be, for example, when n is probably way too high and it will just give some ridiculous value, or when n is below 0. And also there's this one case when n is equal to 0, it will return 1. So I think it works when you type factorial of 0. Never mind. Let's erase everything in here, and let's write. I don't know if it's a better version, but I certainly do prefer the factorial, or the recursive function, I suppose. So basically you do not use a loop, you use an if, and that will check whether n is equal to 1 or is below 2 or not. So if n is below 2, so if it is 1 or 0, it will return 1, and it actually I'm not actually taking care of when it is below 0. Once again, I'm a bit too lazy, and let's do else. Just finishing writing the structure of if of a condition, and so if it is below 0, the function will return 1, and if not, it will return n multiplied by fact of n minus 1. And this is pretty much the definition of the factorial. Basically, if you have factorial of 4, it will basically do 4 times the factorial of 3, and factorial of 3 being 3 times the factorial of 2, 2 being the factorial of 2 times factorial of 1, and factorial of 1 is equal to 1. So basically it will go down calling several times function factorial, and then it will use the condition to actually leave this recursivity, and all the results will be simultaneously returned, and we will eventually get this one result, which is the end result, what we originally typed. So, well. Little typo. Okay, save, exit, and you'll see you get the same result. So, test, and 6 and 24 just like last time. That's wonderful. So I guess that will be all for today, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please take the time to like and subscribe. If you have any ideas or suggestions, in fact any tutorials you might like me to actually do, let me know in the comment section. I am really interested in your opinion, believe it or not. And since this is the end, I'll be saying goodbye and see you next time.